Hi everyone, this is Renee from Education and Training Compliance Solutions. Here's a snapshot of the key wet sector updates for March. There's a slight movement in the qualification reforms area. The design group has proposed a new approach to the wet qualifications that is anticipated to shift the current one-size-fits-all to more towards fit-for-purpose approach. The proposed model is purpose-driven and is based on 6 qualification development quality principles. The design group has identified that the qualifications can be categorized into 3 broad categories based upon the purpose that they serve, with the purpose 1 set of qualifications being those that lead to specific job outcomes such as trade, license, occupation. And purpose 2 category could be the qualifications that lead to multiple occupations but within the same industry. And purpose 3 qualifications could either develop cross-sector or foundational knowledge and skills, or they may also lead to tertiary education pathways. With the proposed model development work, it's unlikely that we'll see any changes to the purpose 1 set of qualifications, as these qualifications, they need to maintain a certain level of specificity to ensure the integrity in the respective trades area. Whereas for purpose 2 qualifications, the focus will be more towards on developing the qualifications that could prepare learners for occupations that are interrelated while retaining the industry relevance. With purpose 3 categories, will have that additional flexibility to innovate, where learners can apply the knowledge and skills across sectors. So for some training products, it's likely that we may see a different structure to the one that is there currently. If you wish to read this in more detail, I've shared the link in the video description and you could read the latest advice from the design group. The next step in this reform process is for the JSCs to work together with their states and territories to develop and test the new qualification model, the proposed qualification model within their respective industry specializations by the end of 2024. And it's also anticipated that the advice will include a plan for implementation of proposed qualification model by 2025. Though not much happening at this stage, but I would say definitely this is the space to be looking out for. The National Vocational Education and Training Regulator Amendment Bill 2024 was passed in February, and as a result, the Act NVTR Act 2011 was enacted in late March. The changes to the Act provide more powers to ASQA to prevent non-genuine RTOs from carrying out fraudulent activities, and in turn also providing additional protection to the students. We covered the amendments in the last February update video, so you could watch that. I'll also share the link of the legislative instrument in the video description so you could read it in more detail. Now, ASQA has also published the information on their website regarding all these legislative changes and how they could impact the providers. For example, if you're one of those providers who were unable to provide training and or assessment for a consecutive period of 12 months starting 1st of January 2023, most likely you'll receive a notification from ASQA about your registration lapse, and you may also have to return your certificate of registration back. But if this inactivity was due to circumstances that were out of your RTO's control, you could possibly request ASQA to reconsider the measurement period, and you need to provide details of your circumstances with supporting evidence. ASQA has shared examples of circumstances that they could accept to reconsider and extend the measurement period, along with the details and examples of other legislative changes that could impact providers. I've shared the link of this information on ASQA's website in the video description, so definitely this is something, if you haven't, I would suggest go and have a read. The government has implemented key recommendations of the migration strategy that impacts international education sector. The key changes that came into effect in March include genuine student requirement, which has replaced the previously existing GDA requirement. I've shared the link of this information on ASQA's website in the video description, so definitely this is something, if you haven't, I would suggest go and have a read. Patience. Students can read more about this change requirement on department's website and make their assessment based on their individual circumstances. I've also been asked by some providers if they should be changing their GDE assessment process. I would say that this is something that each individual provider need to make their own assessment on based on their internal operations. So if this is a part of the GDE assessment is part of your process, you need to make an assessment of what changes you are looking at within the old and the new requirement and how it impacts your student recruitment and your application assessment process, and you make your decisions based on that assessment. Increased English language requirements are now in place for both student as well as temporary graduate visas. We covered this section in detail in the last February update video, so you could check that out there. Following amendment to the Migration Regulations 1994 late last year, a new regulation was added for the minister to consider while making a decision to suspend a CRICOS provider. And last month in March, the government has introduced a new legislative instrument, Migration Specification 2024. Now this instrument, it outlines a method to calculate the relevance score for the CRICOS provider, and it's a 14-step method. I've shared the link in the video description for you to work out the method in detail. This instrument, more specifically the score, will be used by the Minister for Home Affairs to make a decision whether to issue a suspension certificate to the CRICOS provider while exercising their powers under ESOS Act, Section 97 of ESOS Act. So we are hoping to see some more details around this new provider scoring under the legislation and how it looks like with the ministers exercising this power under ESOS Act. That's it for the important wet sector updates for March, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.